Okay. Otherwise, if you have to share screen.
Hey, Natalia, you're by
You want to?
Grandma. Okay, and then what do you want? Song?
Which is clear on.
I'm going to clear the table.
He was taking a nap.
Yes, sir. So I can talk. Okay, so we have 2 more minutes. Yeah, we'll start exactly at that time. Waiting for Babu and Rita.
I have to start from my.
What were you eating? What was he eating? Why do you have that?
Nobody's coming.
When we are talking, only we'll be seeing.
This?
Then you call maybe. Mr. Babu. Because there is
He's eating later.
they can
You ready, Sticky?
No, shrimp.
Did it? I told you we can communicate.
Okay, yeah, we'll do this.
We'll keep coming like that.
Then you don't want to do it. I'll do it. Not the song certain. But I have to mute.
What happened to Rita?
We're still waiting for Rita and
Play the song.
send Rita a message.
Who's user?
Gentle.
Gracie, the screen I cannot. Has Babu joined? Oh, no. I know we went to their house. Has Babu joined?
I've joined.
And he joined. Put Babu, Johnny. Johnny.
Hello, everyone.
now you know that
Yeah.
Mute. If you only if you mute them.
Hello.
Oh, you can see.
Do we have Rita with us?
Oh, Rita said she can see us.
Well, who's user?
Okay, now go back to the. Stop messing up. I should have been doing this. Hey, it's now. Let me leave it like that. Leave it like that. I want to hear see if I can do it. Yeah, I can hear that. So they should all hear Yeah, I'm not hearing it, but I can hear it. Yeah, some people are gonna have fun.
Can you admit it?
I can't.
Wait for someone.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit here now because I can.
You don't have
Yours. Please message here. There on the phone. Okay, so okay, I'm running between the
Morning star, strong and bright. Gentle flower, peaceful teach us this time.
Oh, I'm going to see there's something. Close this.
Okay, I don't know if Rita and Babu are coming, or Rita should be starting.
And now I'm going to unmute them.
Hi,
Rita,
everybody.
is Rita here?
Yeah, all of us are
I
here.
see you.
Our video is not playing.
Rita,
It's clear.
you can see us?
I can hear everyone. Yeah, I can see all of you.
We can't see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying. We're trying a level best.
Okay, we're going to start,
Okay.
and Teresa is going to start tonight's service. Should we wait for Rita and Babu? Or? No. Okay.
Open.
We're going to mute all of you except Teresa. Okay. Mute all. Except Teresa. We're not here.
Oh, in this part there.
Unmute.
Okay, so Teresa should be able to let her.
No, I'm not in.
Unmuted by host.
She's in right here. Auntie, I can
No,
hear you.
I'm not.
We can hear you. Go ahead and start the prayer.
Auntie, we can hear you. We just muted the other participants.
But then I'm not seeing anything.
You only
Okay.
Gracie.
Only see Gracie.
Okay. The share screen may have to stop now. Whatever.
Now can you see Teresa?
I can see you, but nothing else. But I see the screen for Zoom and solutions and things like for join.
Just tell it.
Or join.
You want to start the prayer? Oh, then we
Yeah. Okay, just 1 minute.
Okay.
The number.
It's here. I'm just
Yeah.
this
8:32.
one. This one.
1 minute, Grace. Let me just try again. 7:14.
Okay, she should be able to see.
23.
8:32.
23.
8:20.
That is the part right here.
Eight 23.
10.
7:40.
7437.
7:437.
737.
741 പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ?
I don't get
7410.
കഴിഞ്ഞു 7437. 7437.
We can see it. Rita.
Oh, you could see? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Okay.
Now I
just
think.
start. Yeah.
All right.
And can everyone see the
The screen, the prayer, the psalm is there.
So you want to start, Rita?
Yeah, I'm going to start. So in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, amen.
Mhm.
It is almost a year since we lost our dearest mother. I feel that the lucky ones were able to attend the funeral and bid farewell to Mom. Some of us could not attend the funeral services. Everyone that she left behind has a heart that is heavy with sorrow. In spite of her grief and pain, we need to remember Mom for all that she did for us, taught us, laughed with us, and treasured every child, their spouses, children, and grandchildren. To describe Mom briefly, we can agree that she was loving, intelligent, strong, organized, creative, and supportive. The best part of her day was when the phone rang and she could talk to her family and friends. Among her daily routine, she prayed the rosary, lit candles while she prayed, and watched Shalom. Yes, Shiva, she prayed for you too. Towards the later years, she had many aches and pains and had difficulty keeping awake. Mommy was known to be a strict disciplinarian, lived very frugally, and taught us the value of money. Today, a year later, we are gathered here to pray, honor Mommy, participate in a memorial service, and celebrate her life. We also remember our dear Daddy, who passed away on November 28, 1989. Together, they loved us, held a strong fort, modeled and clarified our values, educating us to the best of our ability. Thank you, Mommy and Daddy. Since we couldn't offer a mass together or go to the cemetery today on her death anniversary, we are lucky to have Gracie organize the Zoom meeting. Thank you, Gracie and Jamie, and all the others who have joined to make this prayer service possible. Later in the service, everyone will have a chance to share their memories. As posted on the emails, we have very appropriate prayers and hymns. Joyce and Amy will lead us in singing Amazing Grace. Marina and Rita will lead us with Vava Yeshu Nada. We begin with Psalm 23, also referred to as the Shepherd's Psalm. This psalm was chosen because of its meaning and significance. A shepherd in biblical times carried a rod and a staff. The rod and staff were used by the shepherds to move, count, and examine the sheep when they returned to the fold. Psalm 23 portrays God as a good shepherd, feeding and leading his flock. The rod and staff are also the implements of a shepherd. It is known that the shepherd knows each sheep by name. When God is given the analogy of a shepherd, he is a protector and a caretaker. God, as the caretaker, leads the sheep to green pastures and still waters because he knows that each of his sheep must be personally led to and be fed. Thus, without his shepherd, the sheep would die either by a predator or of starvation, since sheep are known to be helpless without their shepherd. Please join me in reading the Psalm 23. So everybody can join.
Everyone should have it on their phones or on my screen as well. Really, you can start.
Okay. Some people are muted, Mary, Suji, I see them muted.
Unmute.
Oh,
They were not doing it. Not doing-
Are they unmuted?
No.
I will invite you.
Johnny is unmuted.
Yeah, Mary is,
Muted.
That's
okay,
good.
okay.
Okay.
The Lord, everybody can read together.
The Lord,
My shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters.
waters,
He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff will comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
next we're going to have Marina and Rita sing.
Yeah, that's it. Everybody is muted.
Yeah, they have to do it themselves now. No, that is to make quiet. They have to click on thing themselves.
Shashabha is
Okay, Rita and Marina, whenever you're ready. Rita and Marina.
But surely.
One thing is, some won't unmute unless they do it themselves. Like, see, Rita asked.
Can you say she can't hear. All are muted.
Rita,
Hear you. Bessie, are they all supposed to be muted?
yes, except Rita and Marina because they're supposed to sing, but they're not starting.
They have to unmute themselves with the computer.
No, I can see Rita's. But Rita's muted.
Oh, she did 2 streams.
Okay, Rita, we're ready.
Rita is
Marina?
muted. Other Rita, no?
Yes, she's in two
She did 2
places.
streams.
She's muted. Rita.
Rita,
She's muted.
there are 2. One is unmuted.
This one.
Oh.
Hey, let me disconnect the muted one.
And hear the music.
Jules. I went.
Rita,
She's already singing, but you can't hear. She can unmute.
I'm asking her to unmute. Okay. See what-
Unmute the row and start singing.
Hello, Uncle?
Yes. I think you should unmute.
I know, but when we did that initially and then
They're all trying to say something.
She has signed in 2 places. One is, there are 2. One maybe on the phone, one maybe one thing. Can you?
आंटी को अनम्यूट करो.
अबे तो मैं कैसे कर सकता हूँ?
Now both are unmuted.
Oh, they tried
Can
singing
you
fast.
say Rita and tell her? Or is Amy going to sing while they're checking on it?
I think if you unmute it, it'll work.
Yeah. They're not unmuting, that's the problem. Yeah. Can you maybe can Amy start?
चाय बन रहा है।
हाँ ಈ Zoom meeting ಅಲ್ಲಿ
There's Rita. I saw Rita. Hi, Grandma.
ಈ ಅಂಕ ಕಿಟ್ಟನಿಲ್ಲ.
To sing.
I saw Rita. Where is Marina? Is she sitting close by?
Yeah, close.
Oh, there she is. Okay. We saw them.
Okay. हाँ. फिर क्या? हाँ. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
We're waiting for you.
Okay. Vavayeshunadha Vavasnehanadha Ayendradayam Snehameni Vavayeshunadha Niyan Prananadham Vanyamalla Vavayeshunadha Vavayeshunadha Vavasnehanadha Ayendradayam Tedidum Snehameni Vavayeshunadha Pookarkilla Prabha Ten Madhuramalla Teertha kollam njan nalvarum mandapam Vavayeshunadha Vavayeshunadha Vavasnehanadha Ayendradayam Tedidum Snehameni Vavayeshunadha.
Thank you, Rita and Marina.
Thank you.
And Mary will now read a scripture verse or two.
Wisdom, the souls of the righteous are in the hands of God. The souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, and no torment will ever touch them. In the eyes of the foolish, they seem to have died, and their departure was thought to be a disaster, and their going from us to be their destruction. But they are at peace. For those in the sight of others, they were punished. Their hope is full of immortality. Having been disciplined a little, they will receive great good, because God tested them and found them worthy of himself. Those who trust in him will understand truth, and in the faithful will abide with him in love, because grace and mercy are upon his holy ones, and he watches over his elect.
Thank you, Mary. Now we're going to see Jose and Amy and Becky and Asha will be singing Amazing Grace, and anyone else who knows, please join in.
And Molly?
Everyone. Jose, you can start when you're ready.
They're all right. I'm not doing any more music. No.
Amazing.
Yeah. Is Joe's muted? Did somebody mute Joe's?
Yes, he's muted.
Yeah, he needs to
Yes.
unmute.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you see?
No, either Joe sent a message.
He's still muted.
Johnny, Johnny, hi, I can hear you.
Time for me to go to office.
I can hear Johnny.
Time for me to go to the office.
Oh,
Okay, Jose and family are getting ready to sing. And if Johnny wants to sing, he too can sing.
okay. All right, Johnny.
He's going.
Keep in touch.
Oh.
But Siji and the kids are there, right? Yeah. Ashwin and Ashita and Siji can stay, right?
Yeah.
You guys are staying, okay.
We're waiting for Jose to start.
I think he's still muted. Can we hear him? He's still muted. He's still muted.
I'm not muted.
He has to unmute himself.
Unmute.
Siji also
Unmute. So he's allowed to unmute because he can't, I think.
Siji is unmute. It's
No, Asha is muted. Jose and all.
Okay, you're Asha. Okay.
Siji is also muted.
Mute yourself.
Maybe unmute everybody.
Auntie allowed us to unmute, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Can you all hear us now?
Now,
I
good.
can hear now.
Now good.
Okay. So I'll play it here. So you won't have to play it there, Auntie.
Okay, I'm not. We're waiting for you to start.
Yeah.
Everyone can join.
Okay. You have the words?
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears relieved. How precious that grace appeared. The hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home.
I only got half the song. Only got half.
To sing God's praise, and when we first begun.
Thank you, Jose and family. I see Babu is here. So now we are going to start the rosary.
Yeah, there you are.
Yes, Babu.
She's muted.
Muted. Babu.
Okay, everyone needs to be unmuted.
Everyone's muted.
Everyone needs to be unmuted so we can join the rosary. Babu is going to start. Babu needs to unmute.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Let me start then.
That's Neil. That's Johnson.
I believe in God.
Babu. Hi, Babu.
Hi.
Hi. Unmute all. We cannot. I do. Each person I'm unmuting.
Oh my God. That is Sheila and.
Everyone has to go on unmute on their thing. I cannot.
They're all muted.
There is no thing.
അവർക്ക് തന്നെ ചെയ്യണ്ട കേസ് കഴിഞ്ഞ
Gracie, Siji needs to be unmuted.
Everybody needs to unmute
They have to do it from their
themselves.
own computer.
Okay.
Everybody needs to unmute.
Okay, we can unmute now. Now we can unmute.
Okay.
Okay, almost everybody is. Siji, Sneha, we're still muted. Okay.
Siji is still unmuted. Siji is still
And Sneha.
Bob, ready?
Okay.
Start.
Yeah.
Dennis is muted.
Hi.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi.
Sneha is unable to.
Okay, Babu is starting.
Sneha is this one now. Bunty Roy.
Let's just, why don't we just start?
Yeah. We can't see. Yaro ivella kano.
Holy Spirit, the Holy the forgiveness fasting. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with us. Blessed are you among women.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and the hour of our death. Amen.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and the hour of our death. It was Johnson and the other ladies. They
missed it.
The hospital in
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us.
Holy Mary,
to the Holy Spirit,
as it
as
was
it was in the years and it shall be world. Amen.
the joyful mystery, first mystery, the Annunciation.
Johnny saying,
Johnny's not there.
Johnny's family, somebody saying Hail Mary.
Our Father.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation.
Maggie, you want to say?
Okay. Our Father, holy be on your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us.
Not temptation, but deliver us.
Amen.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women. Blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus.
Holy
Mary,
Mary,
Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death.
Oh, he's checking the photo.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death.
He's got white hair.
Joe's
Black. Does it look like any part of it look like me?
Joe saying the next one.
Hail Mary, full of grace, Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death.
You'll have to say.
Molly.
Molly.
Molly. Hail Mary.
Hail Mary. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us
sinners now and at the hour of our death.
Hail Mary, full of grace, Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy
Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, bless us now and at our death.
Rita.
Hail Mary, full of grace,
the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you.
Holy Mary, Mother of God,
pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Is Annie there?
Annie?
Annie? Annie didn't get in.
She's muted.
Oh.
Now,
Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at our death. Amen.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at our death. Amen. Gracie.
I said Mary.
Mary said,
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at our death. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at our death.
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, now and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. O my Jesus, forgive us and also especially those that most need thy mercy.
Okay, we have now come to the end of the part that has prayers. Now anyone can say anything about or to mommy and even daddy if you want. But now is the time for everyone. But please take turns and one by one if you can speak and wait till listening. That includes children, grandchildren, everyone, great grandchildren. Who wants to go first?
Can I go first, please?
Yeah. Raise your hand, yeah.
Okay, I wanted to say first about Grandma, since I'm sorry that I didn't see her for many years because we were so busy here, but I can remember when she came to St. Thomas, and then she was always interested in my interest in science, and she would always encourage me to do better and to always strive for best. I remember she told me that she felt a little sad that she had only done high school level, but when I told her I was doing research in USF and everything, she was very proud of me, and she said to keep striving to be very intelligent and loving. And the fact that even though she lived so far away from us, but she was always in our heart. And I regret that I hadn't seen her in a while, but she's always with me whenever I'm at home or in church or doing anything like that. And I know that she raised all of you very well, and we are good people because of that. Also, Grandpa, even though I lost him when I was small, he too, was very smart, well educated, very conscientious. And even though it was sad that he passed before Grandma, there is some solace in that, the fact that he is now with Grandma together, and hopefully they can enjoy them now. Thank you all.
Okay, who's next?
Can I say something?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say I remember going for walks with grandfather and grandmother. Another thing I was happy to see is when Amity was in New York, she got to see snow for the first time. And I could see the expression on her face, and her face lit up. So that was great. And they told me also that she met Mother Teresa. So I think she's had a very remarkable life, full of experiences. How many people can say they've been in that position? And then, I just enjoyed talking with her over the phone as much as I could. And she was she had a very calming presence.
Catherine, you want to say something? When you got to talk to her? Come. This is true. What are you going to say?
Anyone? Go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead, Lena.
Yeah. Lena. She's muted.
Oh my God.
Lena. Lena's muted.
No red line.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Catherine wanted to say something, but I too wanted to say. I remember when I met, I'm the oldest grandchild, and so I met when I had with grandma. We'd sit in the car when I was younger. She would sit there and talk to me in English, and perfect English, but then she kept on telling us that she couldn't speak English, and that she was very bad, but she spoke very well. And then Mommy turned around one time from the front seat and said, "Oh, I thought you don't speak English at all." So she was she didn't think she spoke well, but she did. And so that was like a funny thing. And then having pictures like of all the generations, that was nice because I have some of that I look at that often.
Oh, no, that's
And then Catherine got to.
I
yes,
got to talk to her.
Catherine and Paul got to talk to her, so that they were happy about
Say it, Catherine. Let's hear.
I
What
remember
did you
when I
tell
was younger, Grandma gave me the phone, and then I got to talk to her.
What about when you saw her?
Oh yeah, I saw when? Oh yeah, I saw them.
Was it this? Yeah, last year.
Oh yeah, I got to go to the memorial last year with Natalia.
Yeah, and they came to Miami. They attended the memorial.
It was so fun.
So how did you introduce yourself? Catherine, how did you introduce yourself to Grandma? What did you say?
I don't think she remembers that.
I think you guys did.
You said, I'm
Catherine.
Your daughter, Teresa's daughter, Lena.
Oh no, I'm Teresa's grandma.
So I am your
great
grandchild.
Remember?
Yeah.
That's
Wait,
how
how
you
old was
introduce
I?
yourself. That was a few years ago. Okay, what's next? Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
Who's going next? Ashwin? Ashwin had the longest time.
Wait, are they
Ashwin and Ashita.
She's so cute.
That's fine.
I actually miss her. That's all I can say. Actually, I'm her youngest grandson.
Yes. Baby. Yes.
Doesn't know what to say. Like every time whenever I met her, she used to tell one news story, at least going to her. Actually, they were all the old stories, but actually she didn't remember that she told me all those stories. So sometimes in 3 consecutive days, she told me the same story, and for her it was like it showed. Can't say anything.
What did she call you? What did she call you?
She called me Chintu also something.
No, I never heard that. I heard Ashwin Baba. Is it Ashwin Baba?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Ashwin Baba. Ashita? I can barely see you, Ashita. Yeah, she's there. She's hiding somewhere. Ashita, can you hear us? Okay, let's hear you. College graduate. Where are you? Yeah, there she is. Congratulations. Yeah, tell us what you remember. Louder, louder.
Come closer.
Yeah.
Whenever I met her, she used to hug me.
I can't hear.
Now,
Okay. Johnson and Sheila are still there. They're hanging. Maybe we can talk to them. We can talk to Johnson and Sheila before they leave or something.
Good morning, Andy.
Hey, congratulations, Papa.
Congratulations.
That's good.
Yeah. So, how are you?
Where's the baby?
Janine enna varanju? Janine enna varanju?
And a big smile. Telling us everything.
Sheila? Sheila? Sheila on the order. Sheila order. Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila. Thank you.
Hi.
Sheila, thank you. എന്നാ ഉറങ്ങിയത് ഷീല?
ഞാൻ ഇതുവരെ പ്രയർ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. കാലെങ്ങനെയുണ്ട്? കാലെങ്ങനെയുണ്ട്? കുറച്ച് പെയിനുണ്ട്. Thank you so much, Sheila.
ജോയ് എന്നാ പറയുന്നു? പിള്ളേര് ഓക്കെ. ശിവ ഇപ്പം ഏത് റൂമിലാ? ICU ഒന്നും മാറ്റിയില്ലേ? അനോ
Hi. Can I do screen share?
Okay.
I want to see the new baby.
Okay, so we should move on to the Marcy, the new Marcy.
Where's Marina?
Marina Marcy.
Marcy?
Yeah, I can hear everyone.
Okay.
Say something.
How do you
Marcy? What do you?
I can't see your face. You're not on the screen.
Yes.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
She is? I only saw Rita.
Mom, put exit, put full screen.
Where is she? Is he?
I see. Is that Joy?
I think
I was very fortunate enough to have spent a lot of time with Grandma. Because of her, I know the little Malayalam that I know is only because of her. And she told me beautiful stories and explained many beautiful life lessons. And I think I'll say I'm sorry for the part where she had to bear all my tantrums and anger. I wish she forgives me. But
oh, she
definitely. I had a wonderful time with her.
Oh, sorry. Well,
yes. I can't see her.
I wish I got to spend time.
Okay, where is Joy? I haven't seen Joy's face,
I
Rita.
never got to see her.
Thank you, Marcy. Where is Joy?
It's coming.
We didn't hear from Rita.
He's coming. He's just coming in.
Is Rita?
Oh, there's.
He's coming.
Hi, Marina.
Rita still in shop?
I see Joanne put in the back.
Yeah, who's next to speak? We didn't hear Siji.
We didn't hear.
They can see you. They can see you.
I remember when Grandma used to tell us about Monu and Anu when they were little, how much she used to love taking care of you. You were in the house with her, so she was always talking about you too. Yeah.
Most time with Mummy. She used to tell so many things, recipes towards the end.
Yeah.
She used to remind me about making Indri Appam.
Yeah.
automatically keep switching to the first.
She used to ask me the recipe over and over again. To forget.
Yeah.
But she was so particular that she wanted us to continue the tradition.
Yeah.
Only say we miss her.
Yes.
And she would support whatever way. I mean, we were secure that feeling we had. We really miss her.
Yes.
So I think the last big event she attended was Bunty and Sneha's wedding. She was in very good mood that time. took a lot of pictures and she was very happy. But
Bunty's wedding.
yes, Bunty and Sneha's wedding. That's when I saw very happy.
Hi, sweetie.
Missing Nathan. I think he was very busy today doing a lot of housework.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he just got up. He just got up.
Oh.
Sleeping.
Well trained.
Just like you.
Yeah. He's well trained.
Look who's this. Oh, look at him, so cute.
Yeah.
Hi.
Where's Leah?
He's so sleepy. Where's the proud grandma? Oh, here's this one. Leah. Miss Leah?
No,
Leah? Leah wants to say something?
See, Leah, please.
Hi. Hi, Leah. There's Leah. Nathan. Baby's name is Nathan. Baby's name is Nathan.
We haven't heard from Molly and Charles.
You flying?
Auntie is going to speak.
Auntie, the baby, and Nathan.
Auntie is going to speak.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Okay, so grandma, yes, pretty much. Whenever I used to travel there, I just remember one instance when I was small. I was just playing around in the garden in the whole house, and I don't know, by mistake, I think I told grandma auntie. So
She was happy.
yeah, so it's like she was so shocked, and she's just like reacting, and auntie, you're calling me auntie. It's like, don't you know who I am? And it's like, I think probably she got a little hurt by that. But then I realized that, and I think I went back, and then I told her mommy, and then probably apologized to her. Maybe I think so. Then she was okay. No, it's fine, and all like that. So yeah, obviously when she used to always visit Nagpur, and even when I used to go back there into Jabalpur always. So we always had a very jovial relationship. She's always used to be very positive about things. But then yes, I have to reassure her every time, because sometimes she used to look at me like like something has actually gone wrong or something, and she's always to ask, is everything actually okay? Everything okay? I mean, I reassure her every time that yes, everything is okay, mommy, don't worry, it's fine, things are good, okay, fine. Probably yeah, maybe a little always a little bit scared as to how she will react, but then I always used to tell her that okay, things are fine. So it was always very nice to see her always smiling, and always taking care of everybody, no matter whatever smaller the question might be, but she ensured that she inquired everything, and she always used to be very loving to me. So that is a very fond memory I have of her whenever I used to meet her.
Neha was lucky enough to see mommy.
Yeah, when I came to Bangalore, I got to interact with her. I found her so cool. She used to eat ice cream.
Yeah. She was very adventurous.
Yes. When she came here, she was riding all the rides in the Busch Gardens and everything. We thought she would say no, but she was quite willing.
Yeah. There we go. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, Justin.
Okay, better. Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to Grace Auntie and my mom and everyone that sang, Asha and Amy, Asha and Becky for singing. Great that we're actually doing this to remember grandmother this way. It's very unique with unique times. We'll have COVID issues going on, so it's definitely interesting how we're doing this. So I want to say thank you for doing that. Secondly, grandmother, I didn't get really that many times to see her, obviously the way things are, right, living in the States. But every time we saw her, it was great. It was good. She was very gentle. I remember that. I think Neil said that as well, or Jimmy said that, but very gentle. It was kind of nice. But I think the last time we met her was in India when Anna came to his wedding, and that was a good time. And today that's the last time we saw her. So we definitely remember that. So I guess we want to say that we miss her, and it's great for doing this, and we should keep doing things like this.
Okay. Anna? Thank you. Anna?
Yeah, I remember the first time I met her, one of the first times we were at Busch Gardens, and she was getting on all the rides, and she wasn't scared of anything. But she was always very kind and very. It was wonderful. And the time we spent with her.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you. Dennis, are you able to unmute yourself?
I didn't hear Becky, Miss Becky. Becky and Amy.
You guys hear me?
Ah, Miss Canada.
I think I'd like to say two things. One was that, can you hear me? Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
So one thing was, especially after I moved to Canada, I would talk to her on the phone, and she told me about a friend that she had who was in Canada. And she told me that once I become she used to say that to me. So I feel bad that I couldn't do that to her, but I think I was really and at the time that when I was also quite lonely in Canada, she would always be there to talk to on the phone. So I think I miss her a lot. And she always wanted us to stay close to her and try to learn, because I started speaking Malayalam only now, and she really liked that. So she always said that we should do that. I miss her.
Yeah. Thank you, Becky.
All right.
I
knew.
Say something. Leah? Or we'll let Leah's dad talk.
Yeah, next. So I have like fond memories of grandma. Like when I was growing up, I had the opportunity of staying with her for a while. She used to cook for us, take care of us. She used to do her knitting and take care of us. Like we used to be very naughty. I remember those days. Yeah, we definitely miss her.
I remember Dennis used to come to Grandma's house, and she would always have something for Dennis to do. Go buy this, and Dennis would go quietly do it and come back. We wouldn't even know, but yeah, she used to get your help a lot, Dennis. Yeah.
And Dennis, you said that you used to be naughty. I can't picture that.
No, we had everything. Like we were naughty as well, like running around and doing all the mistakes.
Molly, we can have another session. You can tell us about that. Molly? Anyway, anyone else? Rita?
Yeah.
We haven't heard from you. Are you in shock still?
No, I'm not in shock.
Mind is somewhere else.
Yes, you can
No,
tell.
some dialogues are not very clear.
Oh.
Dialogues are not very clear, so I was just trying.
About Maggie, she has a poem or something she wrote. She is good at that.
I wish to thank Mommy for teaching me all the lessons of life and for the amazing experience she shared with me. I will never forget her. Every holiday I used to be with her. Then even she sacrificed so much for me. When she was in US, she came running back because I was scaring. So she left all her comfort, sacrificed all her comfort for me. I really miss her a lot. I'm grateful to her because she was always there with me. Every holiday I used to have a wonderful time. And now when holidays come near, I can't be with her anymore.
Thank you, Rita. So now you can teach your grandchild all the things that Mommy taught you. So you have that.
Yeah, Gracie, there's Anu and Kiran.
Yeah.
And then The other Mary, second Mary, Mary the second, and Rohan.
Junior Mary.
Junior
Yes.
Mary, okay.
And Junior's
The
mother.
females are Junior Mary.
Okay, who's next?
And let's hear Anu and Kiran. Hi, Anu and Kiran. What is that?
Rohan, you want to go?
Oh, she's muted. Anu.
Oh,
Vivian.
I thought she was doing sign language.
No, Anu is muted. I think.
So I have been very lucky to have spent a lot of time with grandma, and in fact, I have many memories. One of the few fond memories is that on Sundays we used to go walking to church at times, and I used to like hold grandma's hand and walk. So, and she used to be, she always remembered that. When she moved to Joe's uncle's house, initially Dennis and myself used to go and sleep with her.
Right.
Every time she met me, I mean, it was just this very small thing, but she always remembered that and never failed to mention that she also, I mean, cherished that memory.
Yes.
And she always had something for us, like when she would never leave us empty-handed. If it was not well, maybe it's a small candy or something. She will never let us go empty-handed and feed us. And even today, like daily, I remember after I got married, the first time I went back to Jabalpur, she gave us a pair of beautiful forks. She was very particular about the cutlery, and she gave us a beautiful pair of forks, and I use it daily. And so many times I keep repeating that, oh, grandma gave me this, and I just love it. Especially those forks. I think I repeat that to Rohan a lot. Yeah. So to have very fond memories, and yeah.
Cherish those.
And whenever we go to church, like mummy, myself, and grandma, so it was like 3 generations walking together. And so many times we used to end up wearing like the same color. We used to laugh about that, how we used to get synced. So yeah. I remember her every day, and small things remind me of cutting and chopping and a pie. So many things remind me of her. So I'm happy to have spent a lot of time with her.
And Rohan also met mommy, right, at the wedding. And
yeah, I was quite fortunate enough to meet grandma. I think 3 or 4 times. Every time when I visited Jabalpur, so I had that experience of having a grandparent from my mother's and father's. Always meeting grandma in Jabalpur, always she was very welcoming and kind-hearted, and always used to ask me about how are you feeling and how are my parents. And she was always very kind, jovial, and very soothing, such a soothing voice. And I used to feel like talking to her end to end. Like that was a very wonderful experience for me, and I will always tell Dolly about it.
She always tells me you're very lucky to have spent so much time with your grandparents.
That is true.
We only realize later, yes, the value of all of that. Speaking of giving you something in your hand, Dolly, I used to get sometimes 1 candy in my hand.
Yeah.
But she made it sound like and look like she was giving me gold, you know. And she said, don't tell anyone else. This is only for you. And so
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
used to do that. Yeah. And sometimes I tell Jamie how daddy and mommy would bring, and we would have 6 bananas in the house. And he would say, you only got half of it because we are 10 and parents 12. I said, yes, but we loved it so much. We were waiting for that half a banana. It was so good. Such a big family. And she used to neatly cut the skin of the mango and give to all of us. And we all had our turns for the nice pieces of the mango or even the andi. I'm saying that in Malayalam, andi. So he took care of us with a little bit he had. And he always wanted to learn so much and find out what else there was and ask me what we are doing. And oh, she knew everything. She said, can you explain it to me again? She loved that. She wanted to learn and know everything that was going on. But, you know, she was always busy. Time to cook for us because there was a baby crying. There was always one baby. Johnny doesn't know this, but when Mommy was pregnant with Johnny, she fell. I was 13 years old, I think. I didn't even know she was pregnant. And she used to just come to me and say, now you have to give me a bath. And I said, what bath? Well, I couldn't understand anything. And she would have everything ready and she would just say, put the soap here, put shampoo here. And I used to help her. But at that time, I didn't know what I was doing. But she has tears in her eyes because she slipped. And she was not sure if Johnny would be okay. And I remember those days. And then after her bath, she said, I want to sit in the sun. I said, take a khatia, put it in the sun for her. And she would ask me to bring nellike achar. That is all she craved for. And I didn't know what was going on, but she would always comb my hair. And I just went, and the day she was going to the hospital, I went with my hairbrush and she said, Inna Patiela. That is the first time I heard her say to me, Inna Patiela. I said, why? Why? She said, go ask Mary to comb your hair. I said, no, I'm not going to Mary. She pulls my hair. She pulls my hair. And then she looked at me, she said, Ottum Patiela. And then I realized she went for her delivery. And she came back and Daddy said, you have a brother. That's how I knew. I didn't know what was going on. She was so good at keeping it quiet, and sometimes she cried and she suffered, but never let us know any of that. I just want to say that we have learned so much from Mommy. At that time, I used to even get a pinch or two because I didn't know what I was doing. And she'd say, go make a cup of tea, some guests were here. I'd say, both are the same, tea and coffee, doesn't matter. I'd go make the wrong thing. And she'd pinch me and she said, I told you to listen. But I didn't know. I would just go anything. She was so particular and she would say, why did you use this cup? You should have used this one and do it nicely. And she taught us all those things, but at that time we didn't know. But remember, without her, we wouldn't be where we are. We wouldn't be who we are without her and Daddy. So those are things we have to pass on to our kids and hope that tradition will continue.
Gracie, but you still have a lot of hair.
Not so much, but yeah, even though you pulled a little bit, yeah, and managing. Not bald yet.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Okay, so I'm just filling in the blanks from everything that you all have heard. You know, when she was very encouraging at that time. I didn't feel it, but a simple thing like when we went shopping after coming here, and I look at a couple of things and then say, no, not that, no this, or this is too big or too expensive or too good, or like you are not worthy of that. And I move away, she'll call me back. She'll say, I know you like that. What is keeping you from buying? I said, no, it's okay. I don't need that. She said, you need to be a little bit, feel yourself more like worthy and go. And I said, you sure? I said, yes. And then she would encourage me to buy. I used to be like a little backward in some of those aspects. And another thing is she always said she doesn't have good memory. But when I talk from here, she'll say, oh, did you go to Miami? She's saying, oh, those flowers on the way, like she knew all the trees and the flowers on the highway. She said on the right side, after we reached half the road, you know, there are a lot of those trees with white flowers. I said, oh, I really don't remember she's here. I used to sit and count, sitting in the car, she used to count the trees, count this. And I don't remember those trees. And sometimes she'll call home and say, no, she'll go, how is that plant, you know, the one in the front? I said, which one? She said, no, near the window. I said, which one? Oh, behind that rose, you know, they had this kind of leaf. I said, you remember all that. You always say you don't have good memory, but I don't even know what she was talking about. But she had a lot of memories. I mean, recent memory she would forget, but most of the things I thought she did very good, and that was very good. Most time you hear these elderly people where by the time they're reaching the end, they don't know where they are, and even if it's not clear dementia, but still in the memory is lost. But I think hers, for the age, she was doing very good. And the other thing is that, you know, a year ago, I just, when this happened, I thought two things were good. One is that she did not suffer. I mean, I'm sure the last moments, nobody knows how it went, but she was not bedridden and lying for a long time and in a lot of pain. It went fast. And the other thing, she always said, if I get a stroke, what's going to happen if I get a stroke? What if I'm alone and I can't reach the phone and nobody will find me? How will I get up? And that fear was always there. So that way, I'm very happy that this did not happen to her, and she was good to the last day. That's
Johnny
my
was there.
Pardon?
Johnny was there always.
Oh, that was, of course, he was there, so that's very good.
Johnny was
We
there.
want to share something.
Yes. Yes.
We want to share something a day before.
Uh-huh.
Ashwin will speak first.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Ashwin.
Happened one day before grandma expired.
Ah.
Like I went to her house and I was just sitting there. I was like, Grandma, I have this problem. I don't know what to do. Grandma, like I gave grandma a hug. Like I was the last person to hug her. Then I kissed her, and then she said, "Don't worry, everything will be all right."
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the last person. She hugged and kissed. I was the last person.
Yes,
and the day before we had visitors. It was not a very good day that day. We were tense. We had visitors. I had gone to leave them to the lift. Mommy was standing like in front of her door, and she was looking at me. I didn't know that was the last time I'll be seeing her. We never spoke, but she looked and I looked at her. We just nodded, and I came home. I mean, I never knew that was going to be the last time I'll be seeing her.
Wow. At least somebody
It
was
was
there.
around 10 o'clock. Around 10 o'clock, she was watching Shalom TV.
Yeah.
She was fit. She just finished her dinner, and she was sitting watching Shalom TV, and then she just came out, and I mean, there was no sign of any, ailment, anything.
Yeah.
She was fit, as I feel, but I never knew it was the last time we'll be seeing her.
It was good that you all were at least close by. She was not alone.
Grandma wanted me to do it. Grandma actually badly needed to me. She wanted me to become religious, first thing, and second thing was she wanted that I don't know, I'm able to speak.
Okay.
She wanted me to become religious, and she wanted me to become like positive in life.
We all do. We want at least the second part. First part is your choice, but it's always beneficial. But the second part, we want you to be in whatever way you choose. We want you to do well, all of us.
As Babu, I know Babu is always an advisor to Mommy. Mommy say, "Oh, I have to call Babu and ask him," and she knew that Babu would have good advice and help her out. Right, Babu?
He's muted.
He is muted.
He has to unmute himself.
Can we unmute him?
No.
No.
Gracie, and you need to give him permission, I guess.
Yeah. Does he have?
I have done everything, but it's not happening.
Yes. Yes. Unit.
That's what.
Now it's okay.
Now you can hear.
It's okay now.
Babu,
Can you hear us? Okay, we haven't heard from Anu.
Molly. What Molly and Anu. Molly.
Anu and Kiran. Are you still muted?
Yeah, hi, Auntie.
Oh, hi.
So I grew up. I have with grandma. I have a lot of memories of her. Most of them were like lunchtime, having lunch and hearing stories about all of you. She loved her daughters, and I have heard so many stories about Teresa Auntie, Mary Auntie, mostly about both of you. Your school days. She used to tell me to study and work hard like Mary Auntie and Maggie Auntie. She used to give me a lot of examples about all of you. And there are a lot of things. I mean, she was very strong, independent woman. I mean, even at the end, you go to a house, there's nothing out of place. Everything is kept, in the correct place. There's no dust. I mean, it was amazing how she could be like that. And there are a lot of memories. I mean,
I know even now, or the last time I was in Mommy's house, I thought I was helping. I was washing the spoons and putting them, and she just looked at me. I said, "Oh, am I putting in the wrong place?" She said, "Yes, that goes here and that goes there." I was quite old, but she still told me that. So I know she was very organized. And I said, "Just take out this sari." And went, no. She had her stack and she said, "Take out the one from the bottom." Oh, everything was so neat and organized. And that's what should make us do. So
Babu had an explanation for that. He said if the light goes off at night, she knows exactly where the matches is, stove is, everything. Things don't change their place. That was what made her so organized. Kiran, you met my grandma, right?
Yeah.
The wedding.
I met her, I think, few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know always say to me, like, if she sees our house, the way the situation is in, then she'll throw us out of the house itself.
Yeah.
That's what she used to say to me.
Yeah. So Babuji,
The curtains.
we haven't heard from Babu, but I know.
Where's Mariamma? Where's Mariamma? I don't want to take care of her. Oh my God. Okay. And now Mariamma. So,
okay.
Hello.
Yes. Oh, we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you all hear?
Yes. It's very clear.
And we want to hear you.
Full of memories, but let me just tell you a few.
Yeah.
One was when Daddy was admitted to the medical college.
Yeah.
Johnny used to look after him. And I was at the bedside the day before. So when he had come with the last sacrament, and Daddy saw that and said, "No, not now. I may need it the next attack."
Oh my God. We didn't know all that. Yeah.
And he was smiling. Mommy also, I met her the last visit.
Yeah.
So I used to do something or the other for her. She said, "You're very busy, but if I had time, I would have got you to repair my sewing machine."
You wanted that so badly.
She was active, and she always was active. Stitching something also for you, if you only provide it.
Thank you, Babu. Yeah.
Mariamma vallam parayunna. Where's Mariamma?
She's not. Maggie.
Mom used to say, hello.
Oh, sorry. Full stop.
Mom used to say, when Babu and Jose came, they were more than girls. They looked after me. Always say, Johnny, I think he used to say, always used to say. Without Daddy, she managed for 30 years. And the previous day I spoke to her thrice, I rang her up thrice. But I didn't know that she's going away. When I told her, eat something, she said, Dilla, 10 mani ayollu. I don't know what to say about her. How much we miss her, but she was so lucky that she went and met everybody. She came here, she went to Billai, she went to Bangalore, she met everybody, and then she went. Same with Daddy. Daddy went to America and met you all and came back.
So we have to try and think of the good things that we learned from both Daddy and Mommy. Yes, we feel the grief, but we have to think of all the good times we had and try to live with those memories and cherish those memories and pass them on to the next generation. Not be upset, and we'll always feel that we should have done more, but that is a natural feeling. We don't know when anything can happen. So the best advice for everybody, and I'm not the best person to give you the advice, but we should live for now and do what we can so that we don't have any regrets. I know Molly also worked very closely with Mommy. She knew what Mommy needed and did all the banking for her. She did so many things. Waiting for Molly to come.
Yeah, Molly.
That's fine.
Molly and Maggie.
Can't you?
Kutiyachan, we didn't see Kutiyachan. Let's
do it.
Is Molly
Annie Kutiyachan is there?
Molly is reading something.
Mommy is reading
We
something.
can't hear Molly.
Molly.
Loud.
I can hear.
Yes.
Yes.
As she left to go, that's always in my memory. She looked at me for long, but said nothing. She was very soft, a strong person, working slowly but tirelessly throughout her life. Together, mom and dad were the best parents I could hope for, and they complemented each other very well. Besides having 10 children, bring up cousins from India and find jobs for them. I wonder where they got this magnanimous heart from. They all saw and showed us the positive side of life. They educated us to the level we wished to study and made all of us become financially independent. As a result of which, we all made it in life. Just like the story in the Bible of the poor widow who gave from the little that she had, or with their limited income. Even giving meals to a tailor, gardener, carpenter regularly. We all should learn to give till it hurts. All 18 of the next generation of our children have done well, and by the blessings of mom and dad, should be able to be less privileged. Dad and mom were very sweet about the evening family prayer. We must practice in the next generations, for this is what has kept us all bonded all along. I sincerely hope our children and grandchildren keep in touch with each other and stay connected.
Thank you, Molly. That is very nice.
Maggie.
When mommy and daddy came here, one day mommy just said, "You are not praying enough. You are not saying enough prayers." And that I always remember when I go to sleep, I just remember that. And even if it is brief, I'll just say my prayer. But that was one thing she would tell me all the time.
Maggie.
Charles, Molly, let's finish one family at a time.
Okay. Who's going next? Let Maggie go.
Okay.
Who's speaking? Charles uncle or?
Yeah. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I always remember mommy feeling very happy to come to Bangalore. One is the weather, one is coming to south of India. That was a huge thing for her. She would come to Bangalore and say, it feels like as if I'm in Kerala. She would see these coconut trees all around in the city, in various homes, and see the greenery and say, this reminds me so much of Kerala. And she was a naturalist at heart. So she loved seeing all these trees. It would make her so happy. And she would love to go outdoors, love to go on drives. And there were so many other things that I would feel a very presence of her in the house. Cleanliness was of utmost importance to her. Cleanliness of the house, cleanliness in the kitchen in particular. And the other thing was thrift. She taught me that we don't need to have a whole lot to do a whole lot. That we could, that we should learn to manage with what we have and manage efficiently. Yeah, that was one big lesson. And then she had this amazing keenness and enthusiasm to travel, to go outdoors in spite of her age and physical limitations. And whenever she was in Jabalpur, I remember we used to have these very long phone conversations, as long as an hour, easily an hour. And she would always listen to me, asking me about things happening in the world, in Kerala, in Bangalore, in America. And she would listen to everything. And then she always had this desire to know more, to learn more, because she felt that she didn't have very much of an formal education, but she compensated that by her eagerness to learn and absorb more. So she would ask about everyone and happenings in the world. And then at the end of the call, she'd say, "Oh, now I feel so charged, I feel so good. This will keep me upbeat for a week, 10 days. It's nice to have a call from Bangalore." And so I also would feel that nice. At least I could pepper up in her old age and boost her spirits. And she used to see, I don't know, she used to see Bangalore as a kind of relay station that I would gather news about everyone and relate to her. So anytime she wanted to know about anything, about any of you or the next generation or the next, she would always call here and demand all that information. So it was nice. It was nice for both of us. And on her visits to Bangalore, yes, she had a very good rapport with Tommy. Tommy was a good listener, and coming from Pala side, he would actually, with the conversations they had, he would actually transport her back to Pala and take her back to her roots. So it was great evening conversations that they would have. And he would always put Malayalam channels, news, Shalom, movies. And I think she used to feel very, very connected. So those are very pleasant memories I have of her. And I think she loved to come to Bangalore for such reasons. She also bonded with Debbie and Tanya a lot, and would insist, on the day she would leave Bangalore, she would always insist on giving them something. Since she couldn't go out shopping or didn't know what gifts or tokens they would like, she would insist on giving them some money. And naturally, these children would be overwhelmed and then gently refuse, but then she would be hurt. So she would say, "No, you must take this," and she would insist on doing that. So she was very connected to people and would always appreciate people being very independent and, seeing the positive things in life. So even with her limitations, she always did her best. She traveled a lot, and given a chance, she would travel even more after her age. She would, all her medical issues would become insignificant at the very prospect of having to travel. So that was Mummy. So sometimes we complain about little things, but we need to learn that from Mummy. Have you like to say something about Mummy?
First of all, can you hear us?
Yes, you don't recognize this man.
Yeah, I'm losing my hair. That's
No.
So yeah, first of all, it's nice that you guys organized this. I'm sure Grandma will be proud of the whole family together like this. Unfortunately, compared to the other cousins, I don't have that many personal memories. So I'll just read out something I prepared last year when I got to know about this awful news. So I just prepared a message for her, and I'll keep it short. So I remember Grandma as being very helpful, caring, strong, and loving. So the stereotype of elderly people is that they can be very set in their ways, a burden to those around them, and very judgmental. But Grandma was none of those things. whenever she stayed with us, it felt like there was another helping hand at home. In our house, the kitchen can be the most dreaded place. I think Mummy can attest to that. So that's a place of deep fear in our house. So, but whenever grandma came home, it was pretty calming, and there was always somebody in charge of the kitchen. And one contribution she made in the kitchen was she improved our chicken curry drastically. So that was a nice thing. At least we benefited from that.
Yeah.
Then grandmother and grandma, since I mean in her nature she was not very judgmental, so she was never harsh with us. I could confidently speak my absolute nonsensical Malayalam, and I didn't have to fear being judged by her. I could say I could mix tense, gender. I could say whatever nonsense I want. I could make up my own language, but she wouldn't say anything. So that was nice. So the things that I found the most surprising about grandma were her open mind, curiosity. So well into her 80s, she still jumped at any chance to travel, live with different family members in different environments, always a helping hand. To me, it seems like she's been a pillar of strength in the Mathai clan, and she will be dearly missed. As the matriarch of such a huge family, through her life, she taught us the importance of keeping families close-knit and making each individual feeling valued. I think that's huge. I will miss seeing grandma on our sofa, either reading a Vanita magazine or engrossed in a TV show or watching Shalom and looking judgmentally. I will also miss grandma's chicken curry, ginger wine, and her fish pickle. I will miss grandma's laugh. Rest in peace, grandma, and thank you for the memories.
Very sweet, Debbie and Maggie. We haven't heard from Joe.
Tanya, let's finish one family at a time, Gracie. There's many people.
Want to Gracie, mommy?
Huh? Hi.
Want to Gracie, Atena?
Hi to everybody. Hi.
Who is
Hi, Jim.
Yeah.
Hi, Sabrina.
Everybody's not talking.
I'm talking. Hello. Hello, Sabrina.
Hello.
Sabrina.
Hi, Sabi.
Yes, my cows.
Lots of people talking.
Oh, school.
Again, so many things, no? So thank you for the books.
Thank you for the books.
Oh, that's good. And
No, you don't have to go to school, right?
Say, I read your books every day. Tell Lina.
Oh.
I hear the stories.
I hear the story.
Oh, very good. But Lena just left. I think she said she was sleeping, so she can call you another time.
Yeah.
Let's go. Annie, is he there?
Thank you. And
Rita's
I'm here.
Okay.
So, thank you, Auntie.
The Sabrina.
Sabrina.
I see Kutichan too.
Yes, Kutichan.
I am here. Can
How are
you
you?
hear me?
Now we can see. Yeah.
How are you doing?
How are you?
I am okay.
Okay.
Better now. Better now.
Yeah. That's good to know.
You scared everybody.
No, nothing like that. Just time pass. So every time grandma used to come here, we used to talk a lot. Many things, I think she wanted to tell me many things. But I don't know, something must have obstructed her to say the whole thing. Anyway, most of the time we had a great conversation. And after my operation, heart operation, she was here.
Okay.
She used to look after me a lot. I think
Very good.
the only thing that I couldn't get a chance.
It's okay. Okay.
Where's Sonu? Sonu and Amalu?
The thing is that I couldn't get a chance to look after her. Anyway, we have very fond memories of her.
Mm. She was happy to come there.
Yes.
Give me all these.
So many books, no? Say thank you for the books.
Thank you for the book.
You're welcome.
welcome.
You're welcome, Sabrina.
Gone, Jose?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for singing. It was beautiful.
I don't know where to start. There's so many memories. One thing which many people remember is how mom used to, give personal attention to every one of us. I remember I used to go shopping, and on my return, she would, keep one extra slice of an apple or a part of an orange or something, and say, "Yeah, I kept this for you." That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I used to love going with dad on his cycle to the barber shop.
Oh.
And after that, I would get a toffee.
Yeah.
I was lucky that, after my marriage in 1988, in 89, they both came and visited us in Pathankot.
Oh.
Asha and I were there. We took them to Dalhousie, to Dharamshala, the Dalai Lama's, government in exile.
Oh, yeah.
And also, they got a chance to ride in amphibious tanks on
wow.
in River Bias. So dad enjoyed all that, and mom too. And later on that year, dad passed away, and mom used to come to me quite frequently, especially in the winters. I used to try and pull her out of the harsh winters of Jabalpur, and spend a few months with us. And she always used to, separately tell me that, Jose, you've got a wonderful family, nice wife, and the children. And
we agree, Jose.
In Bangalore also, she came, stayed with us. She liked it whenever I used to do gardening. When I was for quite a few postings, I used to try and get the ground floor so that, I could maintain a flower garden and a vegetable garden, and she would be thrilled with that. Whenever she came, she'd walk around in the garden and say, yes. But I used to plant some, like guava trees or saplings or chiku or mango, and she used to tell me, you'll never be able to enjoy the fruit. But it's nice you're planting all this so someone can, benefit out of all that.
Yeah.
And she used to, I remember even the missionaries of charity coming to her place, and she would give them a cup of tea and something to eat and give them some money.
Yeah.
She would always, help out the less fortunate, and even the priest. The priest there, I remember, used to remember her for this, because she would call him home, give him a meal or a cup of tea or something, and everyone had very good memories of her. And when we were in Subhash Nagar, even my college friends, my classmates used to come home. Even they used to remember her. Whenever we talk, they say, we remember your mom used to, give us a good meal and look after us. So many memories. So many memories.
Grace, I have to say something before I forget.
Yeah, please.
Out of turn, I'm going, but like Joe said, she had a way for, I know every child of hers must be told at one point, like they are special, and it makes each person feel good. And I am going to tell you what I read in a book. This is Dolly Parton's biography and her mother, what she did. So they had a large family like this, and she knew that which day one of the children was not too happy or something uneventful happened or somebody was feeling a little low, she would say, today I have to make stone soup, and there's a big pot of soup boiling, and she says, I have to put one stone, but I had to put a good one. So all of you go out and pick up a stone, and they would all, try to look for good shapes and good sizes and wash it and clean it and everything. And everybody's holding this stone, and she would deliberately pick the one that was feeling down and say, oh, this is the best one. And that person immediately felt great, and she would put that in the soup. And that was her technique, and I thought that was very good. And that's what mommy does. When she knows somebody's down, she'll tell you something so special about yourself. You really feel like, okay, I'm good. And she did that to everyone. That's
nice. That's true. I think both Daddy and Mommy did that. Daddy used to come from work, and one day he said, get ready and come out with me. I was so scared. I thought I was in trouble. But he would take me to Rose Bakery. I think it is in Ranji. I was so happy to sit at the back of his cycle and go, and all the men were just talking, but I would get a special cupcake. And I thought, oh, so lucky. But first, get out, get ready and get out. And I used to think I'm in trouble, I have done something wrong, but he couldn't tell everyone, let's go. So it was my turn, that's how he would take us. And he also came to school one afternoon in big military truck, and Mother Superior called all of us. I was in Southern then for a few years, and he took us all to see Ben-Hur and 10 Commandments another time. The whole school saw us going. It was such a big thing. But that's how he was, and Mommy, in her own way, did the same kinds of things. Yeah.
I developed my liking for tea from Dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember in the afternoon around 3:30 he'd come, I'd be reading something, he'd pat me on my shoulder and say, why don't you make a cup of tea? He liked it the way I made it. I used to add, ginger, then some cardamom and even cinnamon and all sorts of things, and make a good masala tea. And you'd love it. And it was a regular thing for a long time.
I remember Dad used to come home for lunch, and he used to say, I'm sleeping for 10 minutes. Call me if I go past 10 minutes, and I want my tea ready. And we'd make the tea and wait for him, but he would start 7 minutes. He'd say, are you making the tea or not? Because he didn't think we would do it on time. And if it was my turn, I would be, what's the time? What's the time? And he'd say, see, I'm waiting for my tea. You didn't bring it to me. But that's how little he slept, and he knew when he had to wake up. But so much punctuality was such a big thing for him. But he would sit on that easy chair and say, in 10 minutes, I need my tea. But 7 minutes, he was ready. And so, yes, a small cup, but he needed that. That's how he was frugal and made the best of what he had.
Okay. Can I come? Is anybody else going? Okay. Can you hear me now?
Sorry.
Asha, okay. Asha, good.
First time I met Mummy when she came to Changanasheri to meet me.
Mm.
That time she asked me whether I know any cooking. I said, not much. Then she said, don't worry, even I didn't know when I got married. You will not. Later, when she came to visit us, she appreciated my cooking and I felt very good.
Oh, yeah.
All of us appreciate.
We all feel that, Asha.
I appreciate that. The chicken cutlet and all that, yeah.
Oh, yes. Fat. You do it.
She was very intelligent and had an amazing memory. She used to tell me lots of stories about her childhood.
Yeah.
I'm sure she is happy in heaven with Daddy.
I would also like to say something if it's okay.
Yeah.
Are you all able to hear me?
Yes.
So I think my earliest memories of grandma were when we used to go to Jabalpur to meet everyone, and every Sunday grandma and I used to walk to church, and on the way back she'd walk holding my hand and she'd take me to the shop nearby and buy me like small candies and toffees. So that was, I think, my main motivation for going to church in the first place. But that's something I remember from very young. She always said she was very proud of me. So whenever she came home to stay with us, she would say, Amy, you're doing great. Keep going. You will reach great heights. And I'm always remember that I'm really proud of you. So that would always encourage and motivate me. And I think one really good thing was whenever I was not feeling so great because I didn't have a great day at work, I would come back and grandma would sit with me and listen to all my stories. Sometimes in my enthusiasm, I would go really technical, but she would still patiently listen to everything I had to say. And I thought that was really of course, we travel a lot. All of us really enjoy traveling. So whenever we went out, grandma would always be like, yeah, of course I'll come. Yeah, we should all go together.
I second that because I've gone on long road trips with the children and grandma.
Yeah.
And one time, she was late into her 80s and we were planning a trip to Wayanad. And she was in Bangalore and she was with us in Avadi, and she was more than willing to come. I was actually planning to leave her with Maggie or, do some arrangement for her. But she said, no, I'll come. I want to come. I said, it's a long drive. You'll get tired. She said, no problem. And she came. We all had a good time. She walked around all those hills and
and throughout the trip, I think she was the most energetic.
Energetic.
So that was wonderful seeing that someone at her age could be this energetic and happy. So she was always a really great source of inspiration for all of us, and I think we'll all miss her a lot.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, Teresa's
Tommy wanted to say something.
Okay.
He has to be unmuted.
Mute, yeah.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Now it's okay? Yeah.
Yes. Hi, Tommy.
Hi.
Hi, Tommy.
Maggie's not giving you food?
Yeah, she's here.
She doesn't give you food?
No, she's learning international recipes and cooking.
You told me you like
and
doesn't
mentors.
Yeah, I think I could connect with my very fast person, maybe Kerala village background. She used to tell me a lot of stories from her younger days, her days. She had with in her mother's parents' place, that is Arvitra. Then she moved to Williamattam, all that. And again, her few years stay in Todupuzha, the house they bought. Miss Daddy and Mummy bought a house there. What all happened there, and a lot of stories she used to tell me. I think we could connect very easily, so that I used to like to hear her stories, as well as later part of maybe last 2 years. She wanted to know more about her family, so that I opened Facebook and showed the pages
Yeah.
her family. I think, but she couldn't connect with. I can say she couldn't recognize most of them. Maybe around hundreds of them were there in that. As Ilanduruthil family, I think they had a family meeting, etc. So that
Yes, yeah.
but we talked a lot about her background. I think I know more about her maybe younger days than most of you.
I believe that.
Probably.
I believe that.
Yeah, when she came back from Bangalore, she would say, "Ayyo, Tommyക്ക് അറിയത്തില്ലാത്ത വല്ലതും ഉണ്ടോ? എന്നിട്ടുള്ള gadgets എല്ലാം on ചെയ്ത് എന്നോടെല്ലാം explain ചെയ്യുമായിരുന്നു." She loved that. She loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. I think she showed interest in most of the things what we were doing, and actually I surprised to see that her interest in whatever we are doing, maybe even the modern things. And something which I really remember is once I was driving back from Chennai with her from Joseph's house to Bangalore, and I had the habit of driving very fast, and normally when Maggie sits with me, she never allowed me to go fast, or she used to condole me, whereas Mommy was just opposite. He was encouraging me to drive faster and faster. I really surprised to see that enthusiasm. Yeah. Yeah, like that many incidents I can remember, but immediately I'm not able to recollect. But one thing I can say that she always had a very, sense of humor as well as understanding me was. What I can say is, actually we had a very good rapport, so that we could share a lot of our childhood memories, as if actually we are peers. Yeah, I don't think most of them actually had with the mind, because you won't be able to understand many of that.
Thank you, Tommy. Tina wants to say something.
Thank you all.
Yeah, I think I just had few days of memory with grandma, and one thing I remember for sure is like Demi speaking in Malayalam more frequently than before, and grandma was like, "Yeah, we were trying to achieve this for quite some time, but you managed to achieve that." But things have changed now. I started speaking in Hindi more than Malayalam, but yeah, that is one memory that I have with grandma. And another memory is when Leah was born, we were kind of we made sure that grandma saw Leah through like webcam and all the new technologies that has come. And I remember mommy saying that Leah's videos are being shared with grandma. So those are some of the memories that I have with grandma. Yeah, but Debbie speaking in Malayalam was a fond one that I had.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Thank you, Tina. Who's next, Teresa?
Yeah, I can go. There are lots of people left.
Yeah.
But anyway, first of all, I want to thank some people that were so good to mommy. The amount they helped, there was no way to, almost everybody else helped us, starting with Johnny, Siji, and the kids. They were right there. Mommy used to phone, and when Johnny was busy, she would still phone. But they were there, kept an eye on her, living in Joseph's house over there. She lived there so many years, and she, for her, it was her home. She enjoyed that part, and Joseph's visits were very helpful, not only taking her around. He used to play, he used to goof around and make her laugh, joke. He used to do those kind of things. Then Molly was so good at taking care of her accounts. And of course, mommy would not ask her and tell her early, but just when Molly is about to leave, she would ask her questions about the money. But, so Molly was making sure that everything was in place and so well organized. And then, so those three, and then you had Babu would come time to time, Babu and Mariamma. They took care. So that was 4 people there that were very helpful. Then when she went to the south, she had Maggie and Tommy, and they helped. Maggie would take her around for checkups and stuff. So she, you know, it was like some tender, loving care. That's what she was getting. Then was Annie. Annie went so often. Annie, Rita. Rita would take from her house, hide it in her armpit and give her one at a time. Remember that, Rita? She won't give her the whole bunch, but she'd keep it in her arm, hide it with the pallu, and give mommy one, and then when mommy finishes, give her another one. So that Annie and Rita did those kind of things.
Annie always had lunch and food for her.
Huh?
Annie always cooked for mommy when she was traveling.
Yes,
Always.
and everybody that went through Nagpur had a lot of.
Yes.
Yeah, and the people that were here, at least we had the chance to talk to her on the phone. So that was her favorite thing, talk to people on the phone. Even if she's eating her food, she'd stop. She'll say, no problem, and she'll start talking. And sometimes I spoke to her for an hour, then stop and then talk again. So I was able to do that because I retired. But my earliest memories of mommy was when I was like 3 years old, and there was only Eddie and Babu. They were so young, of course 1 year younger than me, but they were like the little babies. And then father used to live in the house. This was in Todura. I remember the house. It took us, it was a very steep, like a staircase, that, you know, muddy one in those days that you climb and go to the house. And so before Gracie was born, it was Gracie's turn. Before she was born, mommy's mother and her father came to live with them. And daddy also returned from whatever station he was in. So they were all there, and the midwife came. Gracie was delivered into a pala. I don't know if anybody knows what a pala is.
Yes, they showed me later.
Special pala for her. Mommy's
leaves.
Huh?
Leaves from the trees that are.
Yeah. The white part, like the PPO. Yeah. And then Gracie was given a nice bath. Mommy's mom, if she got hot, she would bite her lips and she would breathe towards her nose. And that way she could, you know, get the face cooler, and she'd take the torth and wipe her face. And then I also remember her at the Arakadla, she used to grind all the masala. That's what I remember about her. But her father, my only memory is that he was very, very fair, and he had like a chambekya, a big round, like that fruit, pink one on his head. We don't know what, was it a cyst? What was the out, you know,
lipoma.
Nothing, but he had that. Huh?
He had about 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, but this one was large. And I also remember when he died and they were taking the body away. The way I remember it is that the coffin wasn't completely covered. So stand on top of the, you know, the height near the house you could see. So then, of course, I remember so many other births too. So my stories are a little different. Then the other people that came to that house were Chacha's brother, Punya. Punya was very naughty. He used to take little chicken, put it inside a coconut shell and light a firecracker and then run away. And one day he tried to catch Babu's favorite, not chicken, the cock, the male. So he tried to kill. They had to kill it because there were some guests coming to the house. So anyway, there are lots of stories. I think each age has a different story. You
Yeah, Teresa and Mummy, Mummy was fond of Chacha and Joey.
Yes.
And literally all the were so Mummy's happy to hear from very affectionate and
Yes,
in detail about every family.
Yeah, I didn't know about Joy because I wasn't there that time, but Joy and another cousin was there.
Two Joys.
Agra Joy and one, who's the other Joy?
Miss Agra Joy and Devon Joy.
There were two Joys. I know them by person, but I know the name of only Sheila's husband, Joy.
There's another Agra Joy.
Yes, I used to get confused with who is Agra Joy.
Mom and I had attended Tripunitra Joy's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Cherudoni.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we spent a couple of days there.
Yes, so not only the 10 children, but also she had other relatives that she took care of. And all the good food, when you look back, the food was so good with all the cows and the buffaloes.
Yeah.
The chicken.
The kappa and the chakka.
Chicken and then all the kaplingas, a big kaplinga and what else? Chain. Garbanzo beans, kappa. She used to grow all these things. Hens.
Yeah, hens. Maggie will remember the hen coop.
Oh,
Once
yes,
Maggie and I were caught hiding and eating govas there by Chacha.
Oh. I remember when the breakfast we had to make 50, 60 chapatis and paratas. And soon when Teresa and Mary went to St. Norbert's, Mommy looked at me and said, go make some. I was so scared. I made it and Chacha was standing next to me, watching me and no, move it this way, turn it this way. It's not the correct shape. And then he went to Mommy and said, because he wanted perfect paratas in his lunch. He didn't want the ones I made. I thought I was doing such a good job, but Chacha would watch and it had to be perfect. And then Mom used to come and say, okay, let me make his lunch because he would get upset if it wasn't perfect. But yeah, those are all some good memories. Is that finished or we cut you off?
No, I'm done. I could, continue talking forever, but I'm done.
Okay, who's next?
Charles used to take so many chakkas whenever he would go up, and if he found chakka, he'd take the chakka, clean it up, take it to Mummy. He always did that, and she was so happy. Oh, Charles on the chakka, she was so happy with that.
Yeah, the right chakka.
I just remember something about Daddy, that he put me in trouble once. Because we were like 8 or 10 or something, and I think it was Teresa, me, and Gracie or somebody. I know there are 3 people, so it must be the 3 of us. Yeah, some festival in the church, and we had to sing on the stage. Some Malayalam song. We could hardly speak Malayalam, and the nun said, we need somebody to sing. And Daddy said, go. Not bothered whether we know we can do it. So no. Only good thing came out is we got new clothes for the occasion. So it was yellow dress. I was so happy, even if I can't sing, I got new dress. So we were standing there, and I was just opening and closing my mouth. I was like 0. And somehow, this was when I, before teenage. And then when I got married, before that, people asking about children and also what, all information about me and Dad. Told them she can sing very well.
Said what?
She can sing.
Oh.
He told Isaac's family before I got married. Like he was trying trying to sell me and said she can sing well. So, a few days
Maybe
after
she can. Maybe she can.
Yes, she can.
yeah, maybe she can. But then my sister-in-law, one of those, she said, "Oh, I heard you sing." But I said, "Where did you hear that from?" And I was like so shocked. She said, "No, your dad said." I thought, what is he basing it on? And then I remembered one day in primary school, we stood on the stage. That was the only. I was so embarrassed. I didn't want to say he's lying, but I don't know what I was really.
Oh, I went for interviews for Bhilai Steel Plant teaching jobs. I went first for Hindi medium, and I was telling him, I don't want to teach Hindi medium. He said, just go, just go. And before I went in the room, he told the education officer, you have to give her the job. She's very good, whatever. I didn't know what is in Hindi. The next two days later, I had to go for the English medium job. And they just looked at me and they said, weren't you here 2 days ago? I said, yes. Again, daddy from somewhere told some clerk to tell the education officer that I must get the English position, English medium position. He never thought any of us was less in any way. We were the best, and he just made us feel special like that. So that is something else we should remember. Sorry, who wants to go next?
I just want to finish that thing I was talking about, the olden days. I saw Mummy's brother in his house. Oh my God. I used to always tell Mommy that she's the baby of the house. She always like that. And she used to get very tickled with that. And then, so what happened?
We can hear you.
Okay. So we had to go in a Jeep to the house because it was so steep on top of the hill. So almost like going to a mountain. He held her like that, like a little baby, held her in the Jeep. Everything was open and took her up. And there she met another sister of hers that lived on top of that house. I think that is Joy's mother, right? So anyway, so I met those two and Kunjuru Chachan's mother. So I knew I need two sisters, and then Mommy is the third one. Then the last time I went to Williamatam, Daddy's father was on his deathbed. It was very sad. Oh my God, that's something I saw. Okay, so I'm going to stop.
Okay. We have some important things to do before we stop. One is Babu wants to say something.
Yeah, he has to be unmuted.
Yes, both he and I have to unmute. And then we want to hear, I'm calling her Marcy, but Marina's poem, and Neil has a poem you want to read after Babu uncle is done, okay?
Gracie?
Yeah.
Just one more. Vavasan, we didn't see him.
He was here and he was talking, but everyone was talking, so then
he didn't
left.
He's gone to sleep?
He's gone to sleep, yeah.
Okay. So Tanya, we didn't hear from Tanya and Isaac.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else.
Let Babu go first.
Tanya is not there in the parliament.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Babu.
Yeah, this is just an incident which Mary may not be knowing or remembering. I
That's a bad one.
We were in Westland. Yeah, we were very young, and she was just returning from the college, from the medical college. And after getting down from the bus,
I think
she had to walk 2 kilometers to reach a bungalow, Westland bungalow. On the way, some boy troubled her.
Oh, I
So
thought
she
we
came
was
home.
God. No.
I remember that, Babu.
And told Daddy.
Yeah.
Was that Vaddu?
No, not like that. Nobody we knew. Just somebody's going on a cycle and he just touched or something like that. I came home and I ran and I told Daddy, and he said, "Who's that? Who's that? Come on, get up." He took his bike and tried, right? Something like that.
When
And he
we
tried to find
I went with her.
Oh.
And I came along.
Oh.
But we tried to chase and we went almost till that park.
Yeah.
But we didn't find the boy. Others would have, we would have given him.
I was scared. I said, "Oh, that guy, that's a young guy, and suppose they do something." But I was so scared. And I said, "Don't go, don't go, don't go." He said, "Oh, no, I have to go. I have to go." He was.
And I remember he used to go with his rifle, sometimes just the case, no rifle inside, just the case. And he would go. It was holy time. And we would say, "Don't go, don't go. They'll throw color on you." He said, "No, I have my rifle." And there was nothing in the case, but he'd sling it on his shoulder and scare everybody. Nobody would do anything to him. Yeah.
You know, mommy can shoot. She shot fires in COD.
Oh.
She got hit because there's, you know, for every action, equal opposite reaction. It hit her shoulder. She never that hit, but she did shoot. I know I saw her doing that.
I saw her in Westland, in the Westland house. She was shooting. Then Daddy was explaining how to hold the butt of the rifle and how to shoot. She shot.
Very brave, very adventurous.
What about riding bike? Mommy learned to ride a bike.
Yeah. All the Punjabis were
doing this. I think she crossed 45 years to learn cycling.
Yeah.
She learned Hindi when she came from Kerala. First of all, when she came from Kerala, it was pure Malayalam and she learned Hindi. She was only 18 years old when she had me. You know, she was very young. She learned so much stitching and knitting and sewing. For every child that was born, she'd prepare all the clothes and be ready. Oh my God. So many things.
Remember Daddy saying Hindi ka tang tod dunga because he never liked Hindi.
Oh.
Somebody asked him something, no, Hindi ka tang tod dunga.
I remember the Dudwala came and he said, "Ninyanbe something." And he looked at me and said, "How much is that?" I said, "Oh, I don't know Ninyanbe. I don't know how much that is." And he scolded me in front of everybody. "You don't even know that?" Ninyanbe, I'll never forget. Yeah. Anyway, so who's next? If not Neil and Marina have some.
Oh, no, what about these? Isaac hasn't said anything. Isaac. And then there's Charles. We didn't hear Charles. Tanya.
Tanya's gone.
Is Tanya still there?
I think they left. Let's go to Neil while we're waiting for the others.
Neil wants to say something too.
Yeah.
Grace, yeah, please, Nadia. I just wanted to mention that I think she had a very full life. Because when she was in Florida, I walked with her and she saw the alligators. So I thought that was really cool.
Mm.
And in New York, I think she saw the Statue of Liberty when we were in New York. And she told me that she met Mother Teresa one day, which I thought was amazing. So I think she lived a very full life, lived through so many experiences that a lot of people don't experience. And another thing is that she had a very positive attitude. I think she was very optimistic and could see the good in everything. So that's
Yes, she said Mother Teresa came to Ranji and all the nuns were there and she was invited onto the stage. And she said, Mother Teresa held her and said, "How many children do you have?" And she said, 10. She said she hugged Mommy and she said, "You're the best," and all those things. This is what she told me. And so when she gave me a picture of Mother Teresa, I have it in my purse and I try to remember that about her. But yeah, she's.
Those took her to her cemetery, right? Or mausoleum. Wasn't there something made in her honor? There was something in Calcutta.
Okay. Neil, you done?
Yes. Yes.
Good. Marina, you going to share your poem with us? I don't think everybody knows.
She's on mute.
Yeah, she has to unmute herself.
Yeah, now you can.
Yeah.
Maggie said she needs to go to work.
Okay. Okay, Marina. Yeah.
Muted.
So Tanya's still there, right?
Marina.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Although we cannot hear your voice or see your smile anymore, we know, Grandma, that you still walk beside us just as you did before. You listen to our stories and silently wipe away our tears. You wrap your arms around us and understand our fears. It's just that you're not visible anymore to see with human eye, but we talk to you in silence and your spirit does reply. We still feel your love you had for us and hear you in our hearts. You've left your human body, but your beautiful soul will never part. Love you, Grandma. We all miss you a lot.
Oh, beautiful.
It is so beautiful.
Beautiful, Marina.
Very nice.
Thank
Yeah. Okay, I thought I saw Sonu coming in.
Sonu's there?
Hi, Sonu.
Sonu?
Yes, auntie.
How are you?
Hi.
Fine, auntie.
Hi, Sangla.
You're busy with
Please,
some...
Sangha.
Take
Okay, auntie.
Sangla. Hi, Sangla.
Changla.
Dari Misha Sangla.
Yeah.
Huh?
Long time.
Long
down.
Okay.
Lockdown.
Lockdown, no, lockdown style. Lockdown style. Okay.
Tanya, don't forget Tanya.
Yeah.
Where is Tan?
I don't think Tan is here. She left.
Maggie is muted. I think she's saying something.
Tan left.
Maggie had to go.
I think she had a meeting or something.
Now you speak.
Where is Amlu?
Now you speak.
Where's Amlo?
They didn't hear.
She's coming.
They didn't hear my. Now you say.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Tan, unfortunately.
That is Amlu. Hi, Amlu. Hi, Amlu. Amlu, कुछ बोलो.
Hindi.
Hi.
She knows Hindi now.
Hindi में बोलो.
You have to go for work, or did you go?
Hi, evening today.
Evening duty. Oh, okay. You're doing okay?
That's at 2 o'clock. She has to be there.
Put her down. She's a big girl.
You say
Are you a big girl, Sabrina?
Hello.
Yeah. Who's next?
Tanya, is Isaac going to say something?
I'll just say that they had a good time together. Whenever he came, they would be cooking together. And Mommy will say, what is for lunch? He'll say, no, you tell me what, I'll go and bring the stuff. Just tell me what you want to make. And she used to feel good that she has a lot of freedom to enjoy. And then, vegetable cutting and all that. When we were new, we had a lot more vegetables.
All these things will drop it outside.
Oh, I don't know.
What is outside?
They have their own conversations and used to have a good time.
It's outside. Everybody's outside?
Oh.
You go outside?
You're not supposed to go outside.
Do you go
I'm at
outside?
home only. Hey, hey, you're at home.
You're at home.
You. I'm at
Why?
home. Say.
Why? Why?
Why are you at home? Why are you at home? Because why are you not going out? Because of
Corona disease.
Oh, it's Corona.
Oh.
Looks like
Nathan is so happy by himself.
Nathan is so happy. Nathan is jumping around.
can't go to school also. See, lockdown. Wants to say something.
Neha, our maid is not coming. Can you send Nathan?
But he only does.
Taught him to go under the sofa.
So
My goodness.
he cleans with all the detailing, no?
He remembers the entire process and how to do it.
House is looking clean now. Marina, what will you do then?
Huh? Oh, I'm the Rani of the house, auntie. I don't have to do anything.
I think just Queen Sheba.
Auntie है.
हाँ?
Marina auntie.
मरीना आंटी अभी बेबी के साथ बिजी रहेगी ना, तो बाकी काम के लिए भी कोई चाहिए.
They are in the cooking department.
Catching
also.
How many more days?
क्या नहीं ना तुम आ जाओ. नहीं है तुम आ जाओ.
Rita, how many days to see the baby? How many more days?
After 9th, 1 week.
No, we can see after
We
9.
can see after 9th. We can see the baby. We can't carry.
Okay.
In Shiva's house, but we won't be able to carry.
Okay.
So did you see her today or?
No, not yet.
No. We haven't gone out.
Okay. No, I mean on
video.
No. We haven't seen the baby yet.
We saw her yesterday.
Leah.
But John
Leah baby.
to show us some pictures tomorrow.
Oh, Leah.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Leah.
Are you as big as your daddy, Sabrina? Sabrina, you're so tall. You're like your daddy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Leah's
Taller
so
than
quiet,
daddy.
Molly.
Taller than daddy.
Taller than daddy.
Oh my God, Nathan is so.
Charles, does Charles want to say anything? I haven't heard Charles say anything.
Charles want to sleep.
One.
Okay, who's next?
Is Charles wanting
I don't think Charles is there, right? Left? Maybe. Anyone else?
चार्ज हो रहा ना
नहीं
बैटरी चार्ज हो रहा था ना
Okay. So I think meeting like this. Hello. Meeting like this, at least we can vent and we can share stories and hopefully.
Neil.
Hi, Neil auntie.
Leena auntie.
Leena.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay.
Have the song, Grace?
Yeah. Going to have a song. Yes.
Hi, Leela.
To ask if there's anyone who needs to.
Dino.
If not,
Hey.
Maggie and
Paradise.
this is a song that we can play. And after
I
that,
want to show you guys something from my garden.
Sure.
If you can see.
Yeah.
Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Pineapples.
This it's like bromeliad. It's not,
Okay.
but they're just like pineapple.
But I have heard some people eat those pink
This
ones.
one?
Yeah.
I don't know. But all the babies are growing here.
Wow, yeah.
And this is in the water for 2 weeks.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is only one of thousands of things growing in the house.
Yeah.
Yard. Only can say soft.
Everybody can see. Yes, so what are we doing next?
Okay, so
I want you to
thank
go,
you
right?
to everyone. I know it was not so smooth, but this is our first time. So, you know, we had all these problems, but we'll get better. And next time, hopefully it'll get smoother. And thank you everyone for helping. I know I asked people to sing or to read or whatever, and they did it so easily. So, yeah, thank you for that. And let's do one thing, and that is to pray for mommy and daddy for making us who we are today. And yes, we'll have regrets, but try to think of all the good things and go from there. So, having said that, I want to play one of share screen.
This.
Not this. We just want to hear.
Good morning.
I should leave it then.
Can't hear.
This time to get forgiven for my sin. I called to talk, and I know she's there. If this book and give me one more chance to tell her I love. Oh, let me hear her sweet voice one more time, for I want her to know how much I can love her. If there's a phone in heaven, is my mama home? All those dreams I know while I still had chance. But one day, Lord, you said no more. Begging now, please give one last opportunity. The phone in heaven, let my mama talk. And give one more chance to one more time. For I want her to know how much I can love her. If there's a phone in heaven,
നോർമൽ ഒരു സാധാരണ ലെൻസ് വേണം ഇത് ഭയങ്കര പാട്.
Okay,
Hi, folks. Mike Manuel here. Thank you so much for watching my video, Phone in Heaven. Please check out all of our Phone in Heaven products.
And then and
Okay, so I think we're going to stop. Maggie, I thought you had to leave.
She's muted.
She was.
She's muted. Maggie's muted.
I just unmuted her, but.
Okay,
Now you can speak, Maggie.
Here's Maggie.
Thanks a lot for making it possible, and everybody else joining. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Therapeutic, like you said.
Yeah.
So it's good. We're in different locations. We all managed to remember mommy together like this. Thank you so much for it.
I know how I
Miss Johnny.
I couldn't come last year. I know how I felt, so at least I want to do something to get us all together. So all you young people, take Molly Auntie's advice and stay in touch with everybody. In you being like us 10, we are so close to each other. So you have to make an effort, and then we'll see. When, like our neighbors on Sunday, some people used to ask us, "What's happening in your house?" There are 12 cycles outside. Some scooters. People used to come to us like that. So, yeah, you all should also get together and keep in touch. It's very important. Okay.
Okay.
But we all miss.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
everyone.
good night and good morning and good afternoon.
Everyone, thank you.
Nice seeing everyone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, everybody, get some rest. Hope you can see.
Yeah, only Johnny. Only thing we couldn't meet Johnny.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Rita,
Okay then. Yeah, Teresa.
can I call you now?
Molly is raising her
Why are you so sleepy? You didn't sleep last night, Rita.
Molly's on
Who?
mute.
I?
Ah,
No.
you look very sleepy.
No, I had a good sleep.
Bye, Leah.
Thanks.
Nathan, bye. Who else?
Bye-bye.
Other babies?
Yeah.
Sabrina.
So I'll call. The singing was good. Marina, Jose, and Amy. The singing was very good.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay. I'll stop.
I saw